Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's let people get in here, get in here, get in here. I This is really in many ways an impromptu live. I like to give you a little bit more time, to know that I'm live. But I promised so many people that I would come and talk about this, all of these, the moves in the cosmos. Hey, my sister, I was just about to send you a message. Thank you for saying hello. Um, so listen, there's so much energy moving in the atmosphere that it is important for us to know and to know what to do with it. And so I really just jumped on here to do a check-in because today is the full moon. And so when I did planning with the planets in our private community, I literally, it was so much to tell you about the outer planets and Saturn and all of this good stuff, right? That and how it affects us and how it's going to affect our consciousness. I didn't really get a chance to go into the full moon conversation, and so I promised some of the circles, the prayer circle as well, that we would come in and talk about this. And always I'm going to be talking to us from our feminine. So I will confess that I am multitasking because listen, I was trying to jump out and take a minute for myself to run out, and and I got caught up, and so I had to jump right on in here and just come and chat with you because we have a lot of things moving on around us and possibly in us. And as women who are choosing to reset, for some it's a rebirth, for some it's a remembering your feminine. There we oftentimes, just like going to get an inspirational message, faith comes by hearing. And feminine faith is sometimes what you need to trust the parts of your feminine intelligence, because right now there is the mother lode of feminine energy, and a lot of people are talking about Saturn's influence, which is powerful. This is the war energy that we see, as well as Venus being square to Mars, and opposing Pluto. These are two feminine energies, polarities happening right now as we speak, and we see it in the collective consciousness. So if Jupiter moving into Cancer was not enough, that's also like big emotions, right? And it's there for a year. It's important though, so like many of us do business and sometimes do life through the lens of the patriarchy, the way that we should on ourselves, usually our standards that have been set from outside. I don't know who this is for. Like give this message, because I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of uh, channeling something here that I wasn't even expecting to come on here. But this is what happens when you get a reading with me, when we use the astrology, because it speaks to me. I feel like it can speak to many of us if we pay attention, right? So let me jump on this live with me. Yeah. So I'm gonna, send this out to the VIP tribe, because they usually get an alert. So I'll make sure I run the ribbon so you all will get there. I'll jump right back in the pocket in just a minute, because I want to make sure that those of, at least they know that I'm on. So I'm gonna just I'm trying to do too many things, child. Okay. So let me come back and I'll come back to this. All right. Yes, a lot is happening. Oh, okay. So, all right. You got you can testify. You can testify. All right. So, when we talk about this energy, those in our tribe, right, who are, there are levels to this, right? There's levels to this divine feminine talk, conversation, way of life. For some people, it's just a workshop. For some other people, it's just a book. For other people, it is literally a SOS through the spiritual gifts that you're called to express in the earth, but not to do it through the patriarchal way that really we're resisting a lot of times. And so we're seeing in the collective the exactly the what the alignments are talking about. It is a warlike energy, and it is but when we look on the outside, we oftentimes don't recognize our power and how we influence the outside. So whatever you focus your attention on grows. This also is important for you to know that this is a potent season, a fertile season. And there are priesthoods of chaos and mayhem that study timing more than you. And so when we see these things happening, it is not, it's not as accidental that it's kicking off at certain times as we may think. And so how can you still create the reality, which is the subtext of this conversation? How can you how can you how can we because I'm talking to myself, create the reality that we want without getting caught up or getting into fear or you know rehearsing, recycling, at least at that level. Now for others, it's going to be at the level of you of spiritual mastery and self-mastery, this conversation. Some of you, this is a reminder, like it's an instant reminder. For others of you who are listening, it's like, what is she talking about? What this is so woo woo. The thing is, this energy that we're talking about through the planets is landing. Why? Because the veil is thin. The veil is thin right now. And how I know is from the inboxes that I'm getting, the prayer requests that I'm getting, the things that have touched my own family in terms of grief and loss. This is all of the outer planets are moving. Greetings. All of the outer planets are moving. So that means that those of us who are fixed in nature, and how you know that you're fixed is that you really have to come get a reading. And don't just trust AI, because the thing is, I've tested AI as well, and it is not reliable. Okay. So I tested it myself just to see, and I had to correct it like 4 times. But you should know this. When we talk about this goddess energy, I think some of you who've worked with me know that I've graduated a little bit from just sensuality for sensuality's sake. Your sensuality serves a space that is reverent, that require, and your sensuality is reverence. And that's the shift from the pain and the punishment mindset, right? That's the shift. Is this too deep for the few of you that are here? Because I haven't sent out any notifications. Because this is kind of how we talk, right, in our inner circle of goddesses and women who have really answered the call to become the priestess of their own household. Is you have to govern yourself accordingly. And so this season is full of she and he emotions. And so, first of all, our emotional intelligence, how we process emotion, is up with just alone with Jupiter. Not only emotion, but also intuition and your spiritual gifts. So this full moon in Sagittarius is an opportunity, as you're listening to me, to look at what are you releasing um in order to make room for? What are you releasing in order to show up in the thing that you think maybe even out of your reach? What is it, let's say it another way. This is what this full moon that's in Sagittarius right now, right? In Gemini season. Now, what's interesting about Gemini, any Geminis or Sagittarius is in the chat? Holla at your girl. Because Sagittarius and Gemini are the only two opposites that are the most alike. The only difference is the focus level. And so Sagittarius is designed to think big picture and therefore will miss details. And Gemini is very detailed and pays attention to the details to the point of overthinking. But both are thought energy, both are central intelligence for the cosmos. This is even how you access your Akashic records. It is the spoken. It is the Gemini is the natural channeler. I wish somebody had told me so that I would not have resisted that part of me. And so when I understand that when some of you want to come and work with me, right? You get a little tremble in your stomach because you know that I can see you and I can see the part of you that is hiding. But this is the season where that little thing that you see, that little thing that you hide, that little thing that you run from is the very thing that this season is calling for to pull you higher and elevate you. These waves with Saturn being slowing down the energy, being cautious for when it feels like go season. Saturn is the disciplinarian, so those of us who I can't tell you nothing, and so life has to spank you. That's oftentimes Saturn energy. But this energy is very precarious because it's sitting in a conjunction with Neptune. And so now it's like you can't run. You know, Bob Marley says you have the song, you're running and you're running and you're running away. You're running and you're running, but you can't run away from yourself. Can't run away from yourself. Because they're sitting in conjunction to Aries, and Aries is about the self. So I'm calling this HEmotions, she and he motion season. You need to know where your loved ones are sitting, because they and listen, I wrote this on my Facebook post. Check this out. I've had two of the most patriarchal comments to come to me from boomer men who were crossing a line on so many levels. Not inappropriate, don't go anywhere like sexual, just in terms of what you say out of your mouth to your woman, to a woman, to family member, right? And I had to give them a pass because I knew that they didn't know any better. But this is a season where people will blurt out stuff, and your instinct, if your emotional intelligence is your cup is not full, if you're empty, if you're already imbalanced, where you might, it could be a trigger, right? But if you're not, you'll be able to sit in the seat of the energy of the Divine Mother right now, and she is the one that's leading. Everybody says Saturn is grandfather energy, but we're finding that the archives are revealing itself, that this energy of mother has been so hidden, and it's the greatest erasure. But the only way that it can come online is when you go through these seasons of emotions, that you can't believe every emotion that comes, but you can investigate it. You can investigate the emotion. And when you get to the point where you start making excuses or projecting, you have just lost a little bit of your own game of life and how to play it. And so we end up having little setbacks, right? Because we get to a point, only the point that, where you need help. This is about community, the Cancerian, Jupiter and Cancer, and we're talking about for a year. We're talking about into 2026. So ride the waves, and Aries energy. All of the planets that are moving this year. I said this in my earlier talk about the planets. I think I even had some visuals. If you this is a good plug to subscribe. But this is the time where all the planets that are moving are hitting, are going to have to hit Aries energy. And Aries is all about the self. It's the warrior energy too. And so when you're getting used to being a spiritual a warrior, you and a water too. When you are getting to being a spiritual warrior, your vulnerability may feel like weakness. And the thing that you are hiding and resisting, this is the thing that can literally get you through seasons like this, where you need so much discernment and so much focus. What's interesting is, if you joined us for Sunday, for Rebirth Sunday, we opened up this month of June under the 12 powers, with June governing the imagination. And it's so interesting that so much of our energy is being pulled on because of what's happening in LA, what's happening with immigration, what's happening, you name it, what's happening in your own life. Are you okay? And are you pretending that you are okay? Hey, that's more important, because this season is going to feel a little wavy, but it's potent. It's potent. So in other words, whatever we focus on will grow. That's the shortcut of coming in to talk about this energy. So this full moon gives you the opportunity to have a conversation with yourself as you're listening to me, and also pull in the end result. What is the end result that you really desire? Don't go to desire yet, right? But if you think about it for a minute, you got to look at, okay, what's stopping you? That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. I'm challenging myself to step out of the boat a little bit on some things. Some people say, "Oh, what you doing? You already doing it." No, don't clock me and don't clock anybody else. And what you think looks easy, you have no idea what it takes. But we have to be in community to share with one another right now. This is not the time to isolate, because it's very easy for you to move through the she and he motions, believing that they're true or making decisions on them. So how are y'all doing? That's it. That's all. I hope that answered you. It's not real deep. What rituals can you do? Excuse me. I had to take a little water there. It really depends on some of your clairs, your gifts, your gifting area. This is a time for you to get specific about the thing that you possibly are resisting the most, or the thing that you make the most excuses for, that's stopping you from showing up at the next level. Now, other thing is that we're not talking about, that is affecting all of this full moon energy, is Venus is opposing Pluto, the planet of radical change. Would you agree that radical change is happening on our planet? And I do mean planet, because you could be fixed on Trump if you want to, and you're gonna miss so many other planetary shifts that are influencing all of this. And when you understand the planetary shifts that are influencing all of this, then you begin to have a higher level conversation with your own divinity. Is this too deep for somebody? Like, you want to come in and you want me to baby food you? This is not your girl. This is Shift Talk on Wednesdays. But on the basic level, our emotional intelligence really is important during this season, for a while, for at least the rest of the year. So what I also said, well, let me deal a little bit more with Venus squaring, Mars squaring Venus. That's like exactly what I said I experienced. Like, pick a fight kind of energy that comes from a warrior like spirit and energy. That's what Mars is. Or pushy energy, bossy energy. Come on now, ouch, amen, sisters. Because even though Mars is typically thought of as the masculine warrior, many of us have identified through our masculine so much that we don't even know that we're showing up in as the masculine warrior. And so Mars is squaring Venus and opposing Pluto. This is intense, y'all. This is volatile energy that we see. And it's still Gemini season. So that means it's going to come through words, it's going to come through travel, it's going to come through technology. Right now, people are abusing AI. It's like a lot of people who, now you're going to lose your authentic voice. if you become dependent, or if you are spiritually immature and you fall into portals. Oh, there's a lot of energy right now where even for us sisters, we need to consider the, if you, I would tell you this, if we have a reading together, whether it's a human design reading or whether it's a blueprint reading, whether you really need to be covering your head. I mean, really, only reason that I didn't is it didn't cover my head today is Oshun Vanity. I just took it down. Because even talking on these platforms, there are energies that watch. They're the watcher. They are the watchers, and they have vampiric energy because they don't engage. They don't say thank you, hallelujah. They don't do anything to contribute to be. They take or judge or shoot daggers. And this is why a lot of your true workers, crafters, if you know what I mean, they're not online talking. We got to get into community. This is sweep around your own front door energy. Come on through, Big Mama. This is sweep around your own front door energy. But it's not, if for some of us it's at the basic level, but for others of us it may be intermediary, and for the adepts, and you all know who I'm talking to, you cannot be on the fence. It is so time for you to woman up, but in the divine tapping into the great cosmic mother energy. And this is the portal that she continues to use me to call on her daughters. And I it just dawned on me that many of my sisters might be menopausal like me. And when you're menopausal, you don't want to be bothered with nobody. But yet but you are still having a spiritual initiation happening through your feminine. And much like your menstrual cycle, depending on how you experience your first menses, may not have had a choice then. You may not have had an opportunity to step into your feminine mastery and go through the rites of passage with the celebration of the community. Who am I talking to today? But in menopause, I'm here to tell you we have a choice. And what irritates us about this menopausal season is that it feels like we don't have a choice. I don't want to be this fluffy, but I have to fall in love with the fluffy and also fight the other parts of it that will cause dominion over my calling and my assignment. And so I realized what tickled my spirit is y'all out here because y'all are always sending me messages, but it's time though for you to show up differently too. We're leaving the maiden season, but the maidens need us. We are their aunties. You cannot sit in judgment or sit in your own stuff too long. It's time for us to woman up in community together, y'all. So how did I get there? Because this Venus energy is a rare thing, because Venus is a feminine energy of love, sex, and money. You know, that's where I rebirth lives. And this is where, we need to, I said this, and there's some things I said in private community that I invite you all to join us in the portal, so that we don't have to edit ourselves in terms of some channel messages that wants to come through now. But just be mindful of how we're moving. This might not be the time to be outside just to be outside. It may be time for us to host private parties, time for us to gather in the living room again. Come on now, big mama. Somebody, who am I talking to? Time for us to host Sunday dinner at the matriarch's house, to listen to stories. Who am I talking to? Because while things are happening on the outside, it who are we waiting for to be the ones in our family line? This is the energy that's up with Jupiter in Cancer, coming out of Gemini. A lot has been said in Gemini. A lot has been revealed in Gemini. So now that's the Gemini deals with big energy, big thoughts. It's Jupiter is now coming into Cancer, so it's going to look inside your house, your emotional house, all of it. And so I want to encourage you. I have created a special reading for this season. I did a Jupiter special for Gemini, and gave a lot of free game to folks based off of their positioning. And if you want to come, I have it special, still in Gemini season, special priced. So really a love offering. And so if you want to get that, just go to the link in my bio. But take advantage of what is offered to the community all the time. So the thing is, the unrest that we see on the outside, I'm looking at my notes, I'm sorry. Just don't think that it's just out there, and how important your calm can also be the ribbon in the sky of calm, and how particularly you as melanated beings, and how we set the rhythm. People charge their battery off of us. You are the mothers of civilization. And right now, your children are fighting. And some of them are not your children. They're different species altogether. But in order to have those conversations, let's do this. We're going to do a summer series. I wanted to, if anybody from the team is in the comments, and you want to jump on with me in these last few minutes, I'll send you the link in our group so that you can get on. If anybody from the team is in the comments, from the team Rebirth, and you want to jump on to talk about, we're going to do a summer series, y'all. And the name of the summer series is going to be The Mother's Tongue. We're going to do it though in community. How many of you use TikTok? How many of you use TikTok? Put a 1 in the chat if you, or a T in the chat. Put a T in the chat if you do TikTok. Put a T in the chat. Come on now. Is it just moving slow? Dr. Tina, I know you do TikTok. So where's your T, girl? And I know some of you are just voyeurs on TikTok, and that's fine too. So, okay, good. We're going to do a open series with a we're not calling it a book club, because it feels like this is more of the reading room, because the titles that we're going to read through are going to be fast reads but deep conversation. Okay, got you, Tony. No problem. Okay. Got you, Dr. Tina. Okay. So we're going to do, the team, Tony really is the mastermind of like, we need to do something like a book club. So we're going to do a sample version for, out in the public, right? but we are going to, Tony's going to be leading a private session because there are some continuous themes that come up um, in our woman conversations, our round tables. So this is me moving from the reading and the energy and being a demonstration of the reading and the energy that we have for the next year, and setting it in motion in this energy of for the next 3 weeks, with the intention for us to become our own creatrix. Because the one thing that continues to come up consistently is the mother and daughter wound. This Father's Day weekend, it's fallen in my consciousness how forgotten the father wound is, and how much it used to be in the lead. So there are some conversations that we can have through some amazing voices that are digging deep into the divinity of the woman and feminine energy. And the second thing that comes up, but I wouldn't even say that it may be a runner up, but those of us who are in menopause. But so let's have a spiritual conversation about that. Let's have an elevated conversation about that through some titles that we've selected. If you have some titles you want to throw in there, a couple of them are going to be authors that I will also come into Shift Talk to share with you. One of them has had me on her show, and it is called Sirens of the Mother. And I think I've played it for you. Have I played Sirens of the Mother for you here? If go check it out on her channel, Sirens of the Mother. And her book is gonna be probably second. And so I want to ask you today, those of you who are here, do you want to begin with this mother-daughter energy, or do you want to begin with menopause? and not just menopause like that, but reproductive health. Those of you who are here, I want you to vote. Even if you're watching the replay, drop it in the comments. Drop it in now. And so we'll be able to inform you that I think it's going to be on Tuesdays on TikTok. We're calling it the mother tongue. And you can jump in. You also can represent your expertise, your brand. Oh, wow. Mother daughter. Okay. 2 votes for mother daughter so far. Okay. Thank you for not leaving it either or. And what's going to happen is, if you just refuse to be on TikTok, or you don't want to be a part of the stage, or the actual live conversation, you can watch it here on YouTube. So let me know. Okay. You let me know. All right. So I want you to take advantage of, okay, another vote for mother daughter. I see you. I see you. I see you. Let me show it in the comments, so when people come and watch the replay, they'll see I'm not making it up. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. So, all right. All right. All right. Tony, I hope you see that. Okay, so good. That's confirmation for those of you who are here. I'm gonna let this run for about 24 hours or so, so that others can see this and they can jump in from the tribe, because I didn't alert everybody in time. So you all know that this is about flow season. Find your flow really and get in it and stay in it, because just be gentle with yourself. This transit that's happening with this warlike energy or this rebellious energy, if you're raising children, or you may feel rebellious, you may feel like you've had enough, you may be ready to fight. The thing is, know what you're fighting for rather than what you're fighting against. And don't have everybody fueling you to fight through the news. Get off of mainstream news, unplug, lighten up, listen to some comedy, have some orgasms, do the opposite of what is in the atmosphere right now. So even with our partners who may be touchy, like, you be the one to fall back. You be the one to ask the question, what, I didn't understand. Oh, you seem, are you okay? Like, with no edge on it. Like, it is so that you can move through your discernment. One of the things that will help business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders to really know during this season in particular is a human design reading. I have not made them available to the public, except for when I'm led to, because it really is something that I offer to really serious spiritual entrepreneurs. So I will make that available if you feel more led to that than the HEmotions. I'm calling it the HEmotion special, so that you can look at one thing is that has to do with your Jupiter, but the other I'm not going to tell you on the live. That dances with this energy for the rest of the year, and I will give you this opportunity to have that moment. And, like, let's just have some fun and intend for fun. Let's be prayed up. Let's be counter what the 85% or the people who are average. If you're listening to me, you're not average. Don't be convinced to act average when you know better. Don't try to go back to being ordinary. No matter how much people want to guilt you into, don't you see what's happening in the news? In other words, they're saying, how do you have the audacity to have optimism? Well, Sagittarius, full moon energy, Sagittarius is the eternal optimist. So much so that Sagittarius can move too fast and be blind. And so that's why we have to, yes, have our optimism and still see. So I think you got the point. I've said it several different ways. If you're all hearts and minds clear, I want to see you on the other side. Join us on Wednesdays for our Mothership Prayer Circle, where we are dosing ourselves with sacred text from and about the divinity of our mother, God is, and really calling for that energy in ourselves. That's available only in the private community. So come into the portal. My team has told me that we are about to end the free get in right now, where it's absolutely no cost to join. Just come into so that you can get notified, and when you get in where you fit in. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. If you want to get to those readings, go to the link in my bio. I hope that this was of service to you, particularly those of you who are Cancers, who are Scorpios, all of the water signs. Okay. Let's just say that all of the water signs, but deeper than that is where they're positioned, or if you're in relationship with these energies. But also the air is activated. This is also high conscious spirituality, high conscious language. Yet at the same time, Saturn is pulling you back down to earth to say what's going on earth. So we're talking about balance. Yet it's also a push pull. So I hope that for those of you who came in late, that encourages you to go back to the beginning to get the details, because I talk about this in terms of energy, particularly our feminine energy, and how do we dance with the energies that we are designed with? How does it serve us to show up in our feminine abundance when there's lack conversations all around us, when there's fear-based conversations all around us? You need to be in a community where you are not the weirdo, where you are not the, because light workers, healers, empaths, those who have all of the clairs or one of the clairs or three of the clairs, how do you care for them? That's who I'm speaking to today in particular. Now, if those of you who are saying this is too deep, I don't understand this language, I pray that your curiosity is piqued and that you trust the divinity in you to know that you did not stay this long without a reason or a purpose. So I'll see you all on this other side. All right. Ciao and have a wonderful day.